Hey everybody, metalhead weatherman here. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Everyone's had a good Friday here. Things have started to look a little bit better as far as the weekend's concerned, as far as severe weather is concerned. So we're gonna take a look at that, and also there is a increasing amount of snowfall. Of course, this is usually around the time where we do the weekend forecast anyway. So that being said, we'll go ahead and jump into it. Make sure you're smashing that like button and hitting that subscribe button too. Trying to get back into this algorithm here. We're kind of struggling right now on the channel. Any help would be appreciated. But even then, if you're just tuning in, just want to say appreciate you for being here. That being said, let's go ahead and get into things. I mean, we already know that tonight and into tomorrow it's supposed to be relatively quiet. It's really Sunday that's the day of interest. And if you were watching the video yesterday, only a few of you were, but we saw that there was a slight risk. This has now been downgraded to a marginal risk, but Monday is still at a slight risk. We'll get into that in a video tomorrow. But as far as Sunday is concerned, a little less certainty, and we've kind of been pointing that out based off of a couple of different things, which we'll get into a little later in the video. But basically, the summary just goes as follows: really strong to potentially severe storms possible Sunday across parts of Oklahoma into North Texas, mainly during the late afternoon. The real issue, the real inhibiting factor, is the limited daytime heating. We were talking about that a lot in yesterday's video, so it's not surprising to see that that's come to fruition a bit here. And then also, there's a little bit of a struggle here as far as the low-level moisture return as well. And as a result of this, we could probably see a few severe storms, but coverage may not be quite that impressive. That being said, we'll still be on the lookout for this. Don't think we're going to stream this one. We'll try to stream Monday, if anything. But even then, I still see a few uncertainties with that as well. I don't know if we have a chance of that being upgraded yet, but I think it, at the very least, as of right now, we're probably going to maintain that slight risk. But as we go through the other days, really, chance of thunderstorms as far as tomorrow is concerned, really going to be mainly focused out west, more so towards the western half of the plains here and towards the Rockies a little bit. Just a chance of thunderstorms. Some of this isn't really even a high chance of thunderstorms, just a chance nonetheless. But that being said here, it's indicative of the storm system and the weather pattern that we're going to be switching into across this region here. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that jet stream at the mid levels. This is where we're going to see things become a little bit more pronounced here. This is heading into Saturday here. You can see the trough is still working its way in from the west coast, and it really doesn't start to take shape until Sunday. And even then, it's not like it's a very impressive trough, not much in the way of amplitude. That with a lack of daytime heating, and with the way this is set up as well, it kind of limits some of the moisture from advecting further to the north like we would like. So it kind of makes things a little bit more difficult for severe development. If we go towards Monday, we start to see that trough deepen a little bit. Timing, I think, is still going to be key in this case, and I think Monday afternoon might be the time frame that we would be looking at potential severe here, especially as that cold front starts to develop along where this low is here. We can see this pretty much being shown at all levels of the atmosphere beyond the mid levels here. This is looking a little bit further down into the atmosphere. This is looking right around Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon here. We're a little slow right now, but nonetheless here, we're still seeing pretty much a similar picture across the board. This is looking at 700 and 500. Now we're looking at 850s. This is where we get that low level juice and the potential for maybe even tornadoes. But as far as Sunday's concerned, with the lack of instability, we don't really have much of anything to really like capitalize on that, so to speak. So my concern for severe weather isn't quite that high, but still Monday is another day that I'm a little bit more eager to talk about. We'll definitely be doing that tomorrow, and of course on Sunday as well. Big topic, of course, as well is going to be the temperatures, especially once this front passes through, especially as we head towards Thanksgiving. We're going to be taking a hit, but for the weekend, we're actually looking like we're going to be maybe a little bit above average towards the eastern half of the country and towards the southern half of the heart of the country. But once this storm system gets going, you're going to notice a real difference here. And here's the other kicker about that storm system as well. Look at the air temperatures themselves. This is a Sunday afternoon, just around lunchtime, maybe a little bit beyond it. And if you notice here, we're struggling to get above 60 throughout the day. If these storms were firing in this environment here, I would be a little bit more concerned. But stuff like the trough orientation, lack of moisture return, instability definitely comes into play here, and as a result, not really going to be too worried about the potential here. Ceiling's pretty low at this point, and you can see that warm air kind of hanging out a little bit more to the east here, and that's where things kind of get interesting. Really, that's going to be the key factor as to what lies ahead Monday. I think there could be a chance that Monday could be downgraded as well, but not going to speculate too heavily into that right now. But as far as the rest of the country, out west, we're still kind of dealing with that neutral phase, kind of a weak negative PNA pattern here. We see that we could see that warm air kind of hanging around over the mountains in particular, and this coupled with the storm systems ahead could lead to some pretty impressive mountain snow here as well. So still plenty to watch here, just nothing like severe weather. I know a lot of people on here over the time this channel's been on, a lot of us seem to be interested in severe weather. That being said here, not really too much to worry about there, but winter weather is pretty interesting. Maybe one day we'll do a winter weather stream. But as far as the moisture return setup, and this is another key factor as to what lies ahead here, like I said, dew points are kind of struggling here, and the timing of when that moisture nose kind of kicks in, it's just a little bit too late. Timing is everything with severe weather, and during the fall it can be really difficult to get things going. So if we were to go ahead and take a look at the instability, and this is where you really start to see the system just not really coming together when it needs to be. So this is heading into Sunday morning, next to no cape at all, and way later towards the end of the day, off towards maybe western Texas, or west central Texas, I should say, is where we get just a little bit of cape, and even then it's not much. The lack of daytime heating definitely comes into play here as well, and maybe right around where that low is, or just off to the south over towards Kansas, right around western Oklahoma, maybe we have enough to get some decent thunderstorms here, maybe a couple pole severe storms. But really beyond that, I'm just not really seeing anything that's screaming to me that this is going to be a big severe weather day. Just a lot is working against this setup in general. The only thing that's half decent is the kinematics. So let's go ahead and take a look at the overall pictures as far as the weekend is concerned. We have, of course, this system out here to the west, and then, of course, this is going to be our upper level low. You can even keep an eye on that little region over here between New Mexico and parts of Colorado, where we could even see a little bit of mountain snow. Here is where we start to see that low being introduced towards some of that warmer air around the heart of the country. But as a result, though, just the poor timing, I really think is going to help inhibit severe development. But it is going to make a rain shield over here towards the Midwest here. Don't expect much in the way of rainfall totals, so I'm not going to get too heavily into that. But these little pockets of mountain snow right here are pretty intriguing to me. We could see some pretty impressive totals here. Could even see some heavy snow with this. So that being said, go ahead and take a look at the snowfall models over the course of 60 hours here. This is us looking at the NAM 3 kilometer right here, but we're going to switch over to a couple of others, of course, throughout the run here. This is the NAM. This is looking at the British model here. Not much different from what we were seeing with the NAM 3 kilometer. A little bit lower definition, but still over towards the Rockies in particular, and the central Rockies towards the eastern Rockies is where we seem to have the bullseye. Northern extent of the Sierras could even get into play here, and then from there we see the experimental RRFSA here. It's kind of highlighting a little bit more of the Sierras here as far as snow is concerned. And then, of course, towards the Rockies, we're seeing a little bit more activity there as well. Euro's kind of going a little bit lighter on the totals here. The Canadian's a little bit more aggressive, which is very common for that model. And of course, we got the GFS we're watching. Then the good old NAM 12 kilometer here, showing a little bit more heat towards the Sierras in this case as well. So a little bit of a toss up as to what's going on with the snowfall potential here towards the Rockies. Outside of that, unless you're towards far northern New York, towards the Adirondacks, we're not really, we're going to probably see a little bit of snow. Totals are going to be kind of light here, but 1 to 2 inches seems probable in this case, I would say. Not uncommon for this time of year. And then, of course, last thing we're going to look at is the National Weather Service blend of models. And this is the one that I'm most biased towards. This one gives usually the most accurate totals. Every once in a while, some of the other ones do even better than this model, but this is actually a blend of models. So all the models we just went over here are pretty much blended together, and we usually get a happy medium in between the two. A lot of love being shown towards the Sierras here as far as snowfall is concerned. Last year we had a crazy year for snowfall. It looks like so far we're off to a decent start here. I remember in previous years there was a big drought across this region, so to see this kind of dwindling away is pretty nice. Then over towards the Rockies here, we could see up to about maybe half a foot of snow in some of the higher elevations, most likely. Beyond that, I'm not really seeing too much in regards to heavy snowfall here. It's not a lingering system, but it's a quick mover, so we'll see a decent amount of action here. Towards the Adirondacks, we're seeing about maybe an inch at best, a little bit further north of the borders where we start to get into those 2 and 3 inch marks as far as snowfall is concerned. So no real surprises there. Just mainly quick movers. I think next week, that's when the snowfall totals are really going to start to ramp up here. So look out for that video tomorrow and other stuff as well. The new seasonal outlook for winters coming up has just recently come out, so look for that video to drop as well. Either way, appreciate you guys being here. If you're enjoying the content, regardless of how fast or slow things have been on here, make sure you're smashing that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and obliterating that share button. Appreciate you all being here. I'm going to head out for tonight. This has been Metalhead Weatherman signing off, and I'll see you soon. Horns up.